You know, when you think about the world of online betting, it's massive, right? Billions of dollars flying around the globe with just the click of a button. But in this huge digital casino, one country has earned a reputation for being the toughest referee in the game. We're talking about the United Kingdom and its famously strict approach to regulating gambling. In an industry where trust is literally the name of the game, a license from the United Kingdom's Gambling Commission, or the UKGC, is seen as the ultimate seal of approval. It's the one thing that tells players all over the world that a platform is operating at the highest level of fairness and safety. So you have to wonder, right? What makes this particular license so hard to get? And why on earth do companies jump through so many hoops for it? Well, today we're going to break it all down. The history, the rules, and the very high price of getting into the UK's tightly controlled gambling market. All right, here's our game plan. We'll start with why this license is such a badge of trust. Then we'll take a quick trip back in time, from chaos to control. After that, we'll meet the watchdog in charge, dive deep into that strict rulebook, and finally, we'll see just how high the price of entry really is. Let's start there. Seriously, think of the UKGC license as the Michelin star for online casinos. For you, the player, it's a bright, flashing sign that says quality, safety, and fairness here. And for the operators, well, it's the key that unlocks one of the most valuable betting markets on the planet. And I mean, it is a massive market. Look at that number, 14.5 billion pounds. And that's not total bets. That's the gross gambling yield, what the operators actually keep after paying out all the winnings. The stakes are just incredibly high, which is exactly why you need a powerful referee on the field. But this whole super regulated system, it didn't just appear overnight. Not at all. It actually grew out of centuries of a pretty chaotic relationship with betting, slowly evolving from a back alley activity to the highly regulated industry we see today. The journey was a long one. Way back in the 1800s, they were trying to get a handle on it. Then in 1906, they just made street betting a crime, which naturally just drove it all underground. It wasn't until 1960 that the government changed its tune, legalizing betting shops but with really strict controls. The real game changer, though, came in 2005 with the creation of the UK Gambling Commission. And by 2014, that was it. If you wanted to serve UK customers, you needed their license. Period. So let's properly introduce the main character in this whole story, the UK Gambling Commission. This is the organization that has the power to grant licenses, hand out some pretty hefty fines, and basically shape the entire industry. So what's their mission? Well, that big 2005 law boiled it down to three core things. Keep crime out of gambling, make sure games are fair and open, and, this is the big one, protect children and vulnerable people. At the end of the day, every single rule they make comes back to protecting the consumer. Okay, now for the part everyone talks about. What's actually in this famous rulebook that makes it so tough? Let's break down some of the key responsibilities that get dropped on these operators. And I mean, the rules cover everything. To protect players, operators have to do incredibly strict age and ID checks, and they must provide tools for self-exclusion or setting spending limits. To ensure fairness, every single game has to be tested by an independent third party. Advertising is heavily policed, and of course, they have to comply with some very tough anti-money laundering laws. But there's one rule in particular that really shows how serious the UKGC is. Back in 2020, the UKGC completely banned the use of credit cards for any form of gambling. The logic was simple and incredibly direct. Put up a hard barrier to stop people from betting with borrowed money they can't afford to lose. It's a perfect example of how the Commission is all about proactive player protection. As you can probably imagine, meeting all these standards doesn't come cheap, not even close. Earning that badge of trust requires a huge investment of both time and money, and it creates a really high barrier to entry for any company wanting in. Just look at the application fees. They scale like crazy depending on how big the operator is. A small operator might pay a couple £1,000s, but a huge global player is looking at a fee close to $60,000, and that's just to apply. Then you've got the annual fees, and the biggest hit of all, a hefty 21% tax on all profits they make from UK players. So this really gets to the heart of the trade-off, doesn't it? On one hand, operators are looking at sky-high costs, really demanding compliance work, and a big tax bill. But on the other hand, they get legal access to that massive 14.5 billion pound market, a global reputation for safety, and a stable environment to grow their business. And the application process itself is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes about 16 weeks, and that's if everything is in absolutely perfect order. You have to prove your integrity, submit a mountain of paperwork, show that all your software is fair, and only then do you get put under the UKGC microscope. It is absolutely designed to be difficult. So it's pretty clear the UK has built one of the most robust frameworks for gambling on Earth, trading easy access for incredible player protection and market stability. But this all leads to one final crucial question. As technology keeps evolving, creating totally new ways to bet and new risks to manage, will the rulebook that works so well today still be tough enough for the games of tomorrow?